Some call him a dictator, others call him a god. But in truth, Kim Jong Un is something far stranger, the world's most isolated billionaire. And behind the walls no camera can enter lies a life built on gold, fear, and silence. The Forbidden Morning. Before most of the world has even opened its eyes, one man's day is already being choreographed to perfection. Somewhere in the mountains of Pyongyang, a fortress stirs to life, not with alarm clocks, but with the whisper of soldiers switching shifts and chefs lighting stoves made of imported Italian steel. This is the morning of a man who rewrote the meaning of power. Inside his private compound, sunlight isn't allowed to rise on its own. Artificial dawn is programmed to match his mood. Amber for victory, silver for reflection, gray when the world must stay silent. The air he breathes is purified through Russian military-grade systems designed to block everything, even the scent of fear. His sheets are woven from Italian silk, his pillows stuffed with Hungarian goose down. Every inch of the room is wrapped in silence so thick that even his guards avoid blinking too loudly. Here, time doesn't move until he decides it can. In the rest of North Korea, millions march to the rhythm of propaganda. But behind these walls, breakfast is brewed with Evian mineral water and roasted coffee flown in from Brazil, beans that have traveled farther than most of his citizens ever will. Before the first sip, the cup passes through 3 layers of poison testing. The $1 Million Breakfast. When Kim Jong Un finally rises, the entire country holds its breath. Outside his palace walls, workers queue for bowls of thin porridge, a nation fueled by scarcity. Inside, chefs prepare a table that could bankrupt a small village. Every meal is a ceremony, every dish a statement. He eats, therefore he rules. The dining hall stretches longer than a school corridor, lined with red velvet drapes and chandeliers from Austria. The air smells faintly of truffle and grilled wagyu. His breakfast begins not with cereal or toast, but with smuggled Parma ham aged for 24 months, shaved so thin it dissolves on the tongue. Next comes Kobe beef, cooked to a precise shade of pink, brushed with black truffle oil. Each slice costs more than the average worker makes in a month. His fruit, flown in overnight from 3 continents. Mangoes from Thailand, cherries from Chile, melons from Japan, chilled mid-flight with custom refrigeration units. And the coffee, a custom Brazilian roast, ground by hand, brewed with French mineral water, and poured into a gold-plated cup that weighs more than the coffee itself. Each sip passes through 3 testers before reaching his lips. Meanwhile, the people outside are reminded that meat is a privilege, sugar a luxury, and silence a form of survival. To Kim, though, this is more than indulgence. It's performance. A show of untouchable dominance staged 3 times a day. The band banquet, a feast against the world. You'd think breakfast that extravagant would be the peak of indulgence, but for Kim Jong Un, it's merely the prelude. When the sun reaches its highest point, lunch becomes a weapon, a feast meant to mock the world that tries to contain him. The long table gleams beneath imported chandeliers. Porcelain plates rimmed with gold are set beside silver spoons chilled on marble trays. Here, Kim doesn't just eat, he performs defiance through forbidden flavors. First comes shark fin soup, outlawed in most nations, yet ladled into platinum bowls as if it were soup for immortals. Then, giant tiger prawns from Madagascar, grilled on slabs of Himalayan salt, brushed with French butter aged for 3 years. Canadian lobster, caught illegally through smuggling routes, lies next to Beluga caviar, $7,000 a kilogram. Each bite a month of survival for a farming family. And in the corner of the table, something more unsettling. Cobra wine, complete with the serpent's body coiled inside, steeped for decades in rice alcohol. It's not for pleasure, it's a declaration. I hold death in my glass. The dessert tray is no less blasphemous. Persian saffron ice cream, French eclairs dusted with real gold, Belgian chocolate stuffed with Iranian almonds, every piece a quiet rebellion against international sanctions. To the outside world, these are crimes of luxury. But to Kim, they're trophies of power, proof that the world's laws stop at his palace gates. Each meal is a silent message to the planet. Go ahead, ban it, I'll still have it. The secret fleet, rolling fortresses of power. After every meal, the stage shifts from silverware to steel. Kim Jong Un doesn't walk to his meetings. He moves behind bulletproof glass, followed by an army of shadows. Where most people see cars, he sees weapons disguised as luxury. On the streets of Pyongyang, even owning a bicycle can draw suspicion. But Kim commands a fleet of over 100 cars, all smuggled through a maze of shell companies and diplomatic loopholes. Every engine is hand-tuned, every window thick enough to stop a sniper's bullet. The crown jewel? A Mercedes Maybach S600 Pullman Guard, modified beyond recognition. It's a limousine only in shape. Underneath, it's a tank. Doors reinforced with grenade-resistant plating. Tires that reinflate after gunfire. An internal smokescreen generator that can erase the vehicle from sight in seconds. It's not transportation, it's a moving fortress. Trailing behind are Rolls-Royce Phantoms, Lexus LX 570s, Toyota Land Cruisers, and even a Ferrari 599 GTB, each retrofitted with encrypted communications and gold-trimmed interiors. Every convoy is rehearsed like a military parade. Identical cars, synchronized routes, perfect formation. His bodyguards run beside the vehicles, trained to shield him with their bodies at the first flash of danger. Every guard is chosen to be shorter than Kim, so that in every camera shot, his image towers above them all. The Floating Empire, his $7 million yacht. When Kim Jong Un wants to disappear, he doesn't fly. He sails across waters where no radar dares to scan, gliding on a $7 million ghost known only by whispers, Jong Un, the Dragon. The yacht stretches nearly 60 meters, smuggled through shell companies in Singapore and China. From the outside, it gleams like a floating palace, but its hull is armored and its GPS encrypted with Russian military tech. Inside, it's another world entirely. A drifting kingdom built for a man who trusts no one. A private spa shimmers beneath golden lights, marble jacuzzis imported from Italy. A soundproof music room hums with $1 million speaker system. European chefs prepare foie gras and bluefin tuna sashimi, foods banned or restricted around the globe. Silk-lined cabins mimic royal hotel suites, with teak flooring from Myanmar and hand-embroidered curtains from Turkey. Every surface whispers wealth, every corner hides surveillance-proof wiring. On the upper deck, a Baccarat crystal decanter glows with Louis XIII cognac, worth more than a North Korean family earns in a lifetime. Here, Kim stands alone beneath the sunset, the sea around him unnaturally still. Not a wave dares to crash too loudly, because even the ocean knows this is his stage. To outsiders, the yacht doesn't exist. It doesn't appear on maps, and no satellite photos confirm it. But in a world built on lies, this vessel floats as truth's quiet rebellion. Proof that power, when unchecked, always finds a way to hide in luxury. The wardrobe and watches of a god. If the yacht is his floating palace, then his wardrobe is his armory of illusion. Every public appearance is calculated. Every button, every thread, every glint of gold chosen not for fashion, but for control. To Kim Jong Un, clothing isn't about style. It's a language of dominance. Beneath one of his most heavily guarded compounds lies a vault few have ever seen. Inside, rows of Italian tailored suits, each one hand-stitched to hide the signs of stress or sickness that might suggest weakness. The fabric, woven silk imported through underground channels, dyed in muted tones of gray, black, and navy. Colors chosen to project permanence. Each suit costs more than the average North Korean worker earns in 5 years. Every fold is pressed to perfection, every crease calculated to appear effortless. Shoes made in Europe. Handmade leather with gold-tipped soles, silk cloaks lined with crimson thread. Even his lapel pins, small as they seem, are cast in gold and bear the faces of his ancestors. A constant reminder to his people that his power is inherited, eternal. But the real message sits on his wrist, a watch collection worth over $8 million. Patek Philippe, Rolex, Hublot, Audemars Piguet, models reserved for heads of state, celebrities, and the world's richest elites. Each chosen for a purpose. A steel Rolex for military inspections, a gem-studded Hublot for diplomatic events, and on days when silence speaks loudest, a blacked-out Matto, its face empty, its hands invisible. The Pleasure Palaces, a kingdom of silence and velvet. Power doesn't rest, it entertains itself. And when night falls over Pyongyang, Kim Jong Un's empire transforms. From military fortress to a theater of shadows, where luxury and fear share the same table. Hidden beneath the marble palaces and granite compounds is a world few dare to speak of. A world of velvet curtains, Austrian chandeliers, and music that no one outside those walls has ever heard. Here the air is thick with perfume and silence. This is the Pleasure Squad, a secret network of women handpicked from across North Korea, young, gifted, and sworn to vanish from history. They are trained in everything from etiquette to dance, from pouring wine without sound to smiling without emotion. They live not as citizens but as offerings, living ornaments of power. Each villa they serve in is soundproofed and sealed, guarded by soldiers who never look up. Inside, laughter floats over crystal glasses of Louis XIII cognac and vintage Dom Perignon. Western jazz plays through imported speakers. Songs banned across the nation, yet adored behind these walls. Here, Kim is not a ruler. He's an emperor of indulgence, worshipped in whispers and piano notes. No photographs exist, no records survive. Only fragments from defectors and intelligence reports, all describing the same ritual. Banquets lit by golden chandeliers, music played by trembling hands, and the quiet sound of obedience. In a country where people share scraps of corn and potato, champagne still flows like water. And each night of pleasure becomes a prayer to power.